to everyone on Tuesday, that is on 23rd of February 2021 at 5 p.m. We extend a very warm welcome to all our brothers and sisters across the globe in different countries, different continents, different time zones, different health and wellness conditions. Yes, this sentence is very important. Health and wellness conditions. Hope you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your family, your friends, your neighbors, and everybody. You can hear the sound outside, how still things have to get better, they have to get in order across the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are having today 13th program in the series for 100 new Sainik schools, which have been announced by the Honorable Finance Minister of India. On 1st of February in the Union Budget, she made an announcement, Nirmala Sitharaman ji, that 100 Sainik schools will come up in India in the PPP mode, basically where the NGOs, the private sector, and like private schools or state governments, everybody can be a part of it. And all of them together, they can work out, they can plan it out, and there can be a beautiful journey of these Sainik schools. That's what has been discussed. So now we are taking it forward. Today I tried to reach the Joint Secretary concerned for Sainik Schools, and I did speak to Director Sainik School Cell and Gopal Krishnanji. He was very kind, and I learned that cabinet note has been sent to the cabinet for their kind consideration and approval, and they're waiting for that. Once that comes, it will be made public. What are the terms and conditions with regard to these new 100 Sainik schools which have to come up? So this evening, we extend a very hearty welcome to Colonel YHVS Prasad, veteran. He is the principal Rashtriya Military School Ajmer, headmaster Sainik School Kanchwara, and long journey at present in Vizag, and a great inputs which he has given to the country and particularly to our ongoing existing Sainik schools. We extend him a very warm welcome this evening. Now, ladies and gentlemen, during this pandemic, right from 25th of March, we are working, making education relevant. Like doctors, nurses, paramedical people, our teachers are also great warriors. India always believes everybody should live peacefully, nicely, harmoniously, like a family. And that's why there's a term called Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. That means the whole world is one family. Okay? How do we think positive? How do we talk positive? How do we walk positive? How do we think good for others? There comes education. Because always it is conveyed, what is the purpose of education? Why education? Why somebody should go to school, college, university, polytechnic, ITI, whatsoever is to be there. So heartiest congratulations to the Government of India. On 29th of July, they have come with the new education policy of India. Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Education Minister, and this particular policy is going to be a game changer, the new education policy. Honorable Prime Minister is very keen to make India self-reliant, and that's why India is thinking, India is growing, India is becoming what? Self-reliant. And here comes the 6 pillars in the Union Budget on 1st of February by Nirmala Sitharaman. And pillar number 4 is next to our heart, because we are focusing on education, where it's given reinvigorating human capital. Now, what are the key reforms in the budget? And particularly when we are talking about education sector, this program is going live on the YouTube. You can see on the GS Motivator. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is a listing of all the initiatives being announced in the present budget of 2021. Yes, pillar number 4, very important. There's a 9.5% increase in the budget allocation. Sainik schools and other 15,000 new schools in the new education policy. And then higher education, Central University coming up in Leh Ladakh. And then, of course, our tribal youth, they got to be taken care of. 750 Eklavya model residential schools. Skills, once again, very important for all of us. I'm grateful to all these, my brother officers from the armed forces, who had been very kind to be a part of this particular journey, this particular program. And Dr. Chitra has forgotten today to put Dr. Behl's photograph include in this. which she should be careful so that when the program comes, everybody to be recognized. And my great thanks to yesterday's speaker, Dr. Bahel also. Now we started with the Union Budget 2021. That is on first, when we talk about 1st February. And thereafter, when we move on, it's very important to understand over here, ladies and gentlemen, that Colonel Sudhanshu Arya came. Thereafter, we moved on. Colonel Inder Mohan had come. And thereafter, we had Colonel Amarjit Singh. Then we had Colonel Palaramji. Then we had Major General Ranjit Singh Ji. Then we had Colonel Dr. Mukherjee. Then we got Colonel Arun Datta. We got Major General J.S. Ghuman. We got Colonel Shekhar. We got Major General S.S. Nair, Colonel Rajendra Singh Nehra Ji. And yesterday we had Dr. Sanjay Kumar Bahel Ji. Such a pleasure. And we are moving in this particular journey. We are moving forward and we are moving ahead and we are going ahead with these programs. Now, education is incomplete without skills and holistic development of every child. During pandemic, we learned we got to get back to the basics of life. And that's why B2B is no more business to business. It is back to basics. So basic food, basic health, basic education. Now, our chamber has taken the agenda. We are going to focus on education in 2021, teachers and youth empowerment. 12 hours every day, right from 9:30 in the morning, we start beaming across the world. And a lot of initiatives which are being taken. These are the programs listed over here, which you can see for yourself. Finishing school is a concept which our chamber brought in a very big way for services sector. And incubation center, finishing lab, Atal Tinkering Lab. Women empowerment is very, very important. 8th of March is International Women Day. During pandemic, we also noticed that every drop of water is very important for all of us because next crisis world over is going to be on water. In the morning, we play 9:30 India Tourism song. And here is India Tourism song, and that was India's education song. So, ladies and gentlemen, whatsoever human mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Let's come together and we extend a very hearty welcome to Colonel Prasad Ji this evening and such a warm welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in extending a very warm welcome this evening to Colonel Prasad Ji all the way from Vizag. I'm so grateful to him for having spared his valuable time and having joined, all the way from Vizag. I'm so grateful to him. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Colonel Prasad Ji. It's such a pleasure. You got to unmute your mic.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Good evening.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank you very much.
Pleasure to have you with us. It's indeed a great pleasure. And it's always treat and it's always a pleasure to have brother officers, whether in uniform or outside uniform. Soldier is always a soldier.
My pleasure, sir. My pleasure. I congratulate you for taking this initiative to gather the thoughts from all the veterans. And I'm sure that they must have provided ocean of information for this project. I'm sure in coming times, there will be 100 Sainik schools in this country and providing quality education to the children across the country.
On in the onward journey on Sainik schools, there's 100 new Sainik schools which have to come up. And what should be the PPP mode? What should be the role of NGO? What should be the role of basically private schools? What should be the role of state government? And what exactly is happening in the present Sainik schools? First of all, I would request, because it's a wonderful combination of yours, you had been with the military school also, and you had been with the Sainik school also. I am excited to hear. Kindly give us some reminiscence and kindly remember some beautiful moments of those times and share with us before we move in the onward journey, sir.
Right. I first joined Sainik School Punjpura, one of the first batch of 5 Sainik schools in the country. That time, as per the vision of our Defense Minister, Mr. Krishna Menon, The Kunjpura is one of them. It is a 1962 vintage. So as a for the maintenance of the school, the government has given a chunk of land, large chunk of land. Sometimes it's 100 to 200 acres of land. So the school is supposed to generate certain income, and also so that you can meet the additional expenditure that is involved in running the school. Over a period of time, the basic aim of the Sainik School in those days was to provide public school education to common man. That is the basic aim. But later on, the aim is further added on that, okay, they should act as a feeder institution to our NDA, basically to NDA. So with this, the focus shifted, the care area shifted to preparing the children to join NDA. That's the basic aim. Of course, providing quality education also comes as a as an additional thing. So many a times, till recently, till about 20 years, 35 years back, till about 2 decades back, Sainik schools were really suffering for the funds because they are at the mercy of the Jilla Sainik boards. Because they used to provide, they have to be on the budget head of the Jilla Sainik board, and they used to provide whatever the deficit in the school fee, school income, whatever the school fees they get, remaining money they used to give it to the Sainik schools to run. So many a times the schools were hard pressed for resources, especially. In fact, they are just the enough funds to meet the ends. That's all. And even the diet money was also hardly below 30 rupees per day per cadet. That was way below the standards of other other schools, other public schools in the country that time. So still, the schools were producing wonderful results, and they are almost out of a batch of 300, 400 cadets passing out from NDA, they were almost subscribing to 40 to 50% of the strength from the across the 20 Sainik schools in those days. Now, few new schools have added to almost one additional school have come up in every state, and some states the third school also came up. So, if it becomes a public-private uh, uh,
Partnership.
partnership scheme, under that scheme, I am not very sure what will be the aim. Will the aim remain to be the act as a feeder institution for the Defense Academy, National Defense Academy, or is it going to be just to provide public school education to the common man at affordable prices? Is that, well, first of all, the aim has to be decided. Then the other things will fall in place. Then the tuition fee structure also. Nowadays, the average days residential school fee across the country is around 3 to 5 lakhs per annum. If you are more than that, in fact, I have seen the different schools in the last 2 decades. The school fees used to be 1,50,000. It has come up to 6 to 7 lakhs. Some places is 8 lakhs also. So, is it affordable to that kind of strata of the society where they can send the children? We have to see that. So the biggest question mark is what will be the fee structure? If so far the government is absorbing all the additional expenditure by giving the grants to the respective state governments, they are somehow managing. But if the public coming into play, definitely they have to run their business. They have to in a corporate model. They need additional finances. The fee structure has to go up. That is one of the areas which we have to very carefully decide on. That will lead to the success of the schools, right? Then the most important aspect of the success of the school is the staff. At the present, the selection of the staff is through UPSC, and nowadays, as we all know, educators, we know that it's very difficult to find a quality teachers. Very difficult to find quality teachers, especially in the subjects of maths, physics, and chemistry. These are the subjects which are required for their preparation for the children for the NDA successful in NDA written examination, and also for the engineering and medicine. Still, India thinks these two professions, these doctor and engineering, are the main professions where a child should go. So, maths, physics, chemistry, and of course biology are the key subjects. Finding a suitable teacher, a competent teacher in these areas is a big challenge, because there are many coaching centers across the country which prepare the children for the IIT, the big IIT fever in the society. in our society. People still think that IIT is the end of the world. Unless you don't qualify for IIT, you are no good. Somehow, unfortunately, that's the mind. Of course, it's changing. I'm happy that's changing. Now, many off-track courses, many other courses, people are opting for that, and it's a very welcome sign. Uh, Definitely, the Sainik schools have got a future, got a bright prospect because the kind of infrastructure they have. Will will the public-private venture will be able to provide that many resources, because a lot of land is required for the play fields, for the hobbies, to take up to train the children in those hobbies. You require a lot of resources and the infrastructure. Yes, that is another challenge. A lot of effort has to go in this direction of funds have to be committed to these areas, in these areas. These are the certain thoughts I have when I heard that, oh, it's going to be, yes, at one point of time it has to be, public participation has to be there. The government cannot take on all the time, I fully agree. But the big question is the fee structure. If they go the way that any other public school, like a Doon School or Welham Boys or Sherwood, then there is a question mark. Will it really take off?
Okay. So now that is with regard to your Kunjpura, huge space, 1962 vintage. How about the military school Ajmer, sir?
Sir, the military schools, there are only 5 in this country,
Okay.
starting with the Chail, Dholpur, Ajmer, Belgaum, and Bangalore. There are as well King George schools, fully funded by the Minister of Defense. And there was no the funding, everything is paid by debited to the defense accounts. So they are doing exceptionally good job, excellent job. They have got enough resources there, because everything is taken again. I don't think the public participation can be possible. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure whether they will relax the norms in the case of military schools, because
Okay.
the budgeting is purely from the defense budget.
Okay. Okay. Now, how do you look at way forward? What do you think should be the role of NGO? What should be the role of state government? And what should be the role of some private school? If these different identities are coming together and getting packed together, and then there is a standard SOP, standard operating procedure to run this particular Sainik school, what do you think should be the role of which particular entity?
Uh, one thing, to obviate the expenditure, what they can do. Suppose if there is a group of schools, a reputed group of school is there, the sharing of the resources, that is one thing, because you cannot per se create a standalone resources to every school. So in a cluster, so if there is a depending on the population, depending on the area of requirement, if the resources can be shared nowadays, because of the technology, we can easily share, can use the technology to make available the resources of the expertise from various areas of that particular public group, which is going to come into this kind of venture. So they should be able to share the resources. That way we can cut the cost. That is one. Use the technology to cut the cost. Number one.
Okay. Okay.
Number two is the training of the staff. Very important aspect is whichever group is going to take up this venture has to invest a lot of resources in the training and updating the knowledge of the teachers. So you get a teacher with a particular knowledge level, and if we leave them at that level, and we're not going to make progress, because the demands are going to increase day by day. So there's always need to sharpen the tools of the teachers, and have to conduct a complete periodic uh, mm, periodic upgradation. We have to conduct the staff training, staff updation of knowledge is very, very important. And third thing is about the language skills, communication skills. one of the key essentials, key factors for the success at SSB is the proficiency in English language. So this aspect has to be borne in mind when you select the children in this right from the selection process, and also after that again training them that language skills. The a lot of interest, a lot of emphasis has to be given for the uh, uh, to develop the language skills, communication skills in English language.
Okay, okay. Thank you. What a valuable input. Now, sir, as you made a mention that initially when these Sainik schools had come up, the perspective was that public schools should give a quality education to all strata of the society. And thereafter, as the time moved on, we switched over and focus was children getting into NDA. Now,
Right.
NDA has got a limited seats. NDA seats cannot be increased.
Yeah.
Even if we try and increase, fine, we can increase by 50, 100, 200. But when you are having 100 new Sainik schools coming up, what could have been the vision envisaged that, look, this is the perspective? Are we trying to build a national character? Are we trying to make more patriotic people? Are we going to strategically channelize the younger generation that they start respecting their national identity much more than to be just getting swayed away by some of the platonic and pleasury and artificial things? What exactly do you think would be the focus, sir?
Yeah, I mean, you really touched on the very pertinent question, sir. That is a one question. Really, we have to formulate the vision statement or the mission statement of these schools. It's very, very important. You rightly touched upon. See, if it is going to be only for with 100 schools coming up, with the public participation coming into play, but restricting only the aiming only to as a feeder institution, NDA may not cut ice, may not really get you people from the across the strata of society. So the word Sainik school, the mind thinks that okay, this boy is going to be like a robot. He is going to left right, and he is going to be very stiff. He is going to have a fixed ideas. That's what the very thought comes to the mind of the people. As a principal of other schools, when I tried to bring in normal discipline, people thought, oh, you are making it in this school into a Sainik school. So there is a kind of, I don't say aversion, there's a kind of reservation among the people the moment we say the Sainik school. At the same time, some people like the yes, they want to send the child to a school where the discipline is there, where the rule is the victim of the day. So there are different type of people, parents also. But after having said that, what could be the mission statement of the future? The schools is we have to pitch on developing the leadership qualities. We say that okay, we provide the leadership traits, own the skills of leadership traits or leadership skills in the children. That is one thing. So second thing is, as per the Harvard Gardner's intelligences or seven types of intelligence. So we have to give opportunity for the child to realize his potential. Of course, we say even now in Sainik school, say we will help you to realize your potential, but it should be more in a structured manner. There should be all the seven intelligences as of now they've been identified. You should have facilities for the child to pursue his chosen path of intelligence levels as per the Harvard Gardner's thing. There are certain at the moment there are seven of them, like logistic, elastic, spatial, and various other skills are there. So by providing that varied channels for growth, yes, definitely you can tap the potential, tap the admissions. See, admissions also an important factor for the school to be successful. Unless you provide various avenues for the children to pursue for even arts or music or those avenues have to be provided under a kind of a set under the umbrella of a Sainik school ethos. Yes, definitely people will look for that kind of schools.
Wonderful. Sir, one more challenge which our distinguished guest and panelists they pointed out, that nowadays it is very difficult to get dedicated and self-motivated, self-driven teachers.
As I
And
told you, sir, as I told you, in this country still, if I ask children who are coming to admission in the school, I ask you, what do you want to become? Everybody say, everyone says many other things, like right from the space scientist to pilot to actor to politician, but no one says, maybe 1 in 1,000 says, I want to become a teacher, right? Of course, things are changing now. Some people want to take up this profession as a profession. Many of us are accidental teachers. We want to become something. We don't get that. We don't make headway. Then we try to, okay, now let me do B.Ed and get into a teacher's job. And then you discover yourself, yes, you can be a good teacher. Like that, we have very good teachers in some of the science schools we have, or many of the science schools have a very good dedicated teachers. But you have to catch them young. You have to get the young graduates, very like I teach for India sort of thing. Many people join and work there. You get the passionate people from the young age and give them a intensive training and hold and support them. Yes, then you can get the teachers. There is no, unfortunately, there is no departmental store where can you go and shop for the uh, trained teachers. Trained teachers is a continuous process, and you can't get a 40-year-old person or the 45-year-old person and try to train them. It's is a quite a difficult, is a challenging task. So catch them young, get a young graduates, sparks from the colleges. Of course, everybody looks at the pay packet also. So that is one thing which is a driving, which is a very important area we have to look in. Many schools are offering seventh pay commissions recommendations. If that be so, there's a scope for getting a quality teachers. We have to catch them young and train them into the skill set what we required, and then handhold them, and periodic upgrades to the skills is required. Then only you'll get the thing. Ready-made teacher, if you get it, you're very lucky, and otherwise we have to find most of the time a square pegs in the round holes.
Wonderful, sir. Now, sir, technology nowadays is playing very important role. You and me are also getting interconnected because of technology.
Yeah.
And our bandwidth, our module, our communication, all that is feasible, viable, possible when we are having seamless connectivity and we are in a position to cut across to each other and speak to each other the best possible way. Now, with this changing scenario, do you think that they should be okay, fine? If you're having 100 Sainik schools coming up and approximately 33 Sainik schools already existing, even if I take a very humble figure, I'm landing somewhere to 6,000 to 7,000 kids from these schools when 100 Sainik school comes up additional over here in continuation to existing schools. So do you think like everybody cannot be accommodated in NDA? So cyber security, creativity, incubation, atul tinkering, Internet of Things, biosciences, biotechs with technology, couple of other things has to come up over there in Sainik schools, and we should not overburden the children with the CBSE syllabi so much, because the objective is altogether different. Not to score 98% marks and take exam and admission in Delhi University, rather to prepare for a different kind of a career. Do you think that we can somehow have our own autonomous board instead of going under the normal mill of the run CBSE syllabi and program?
Yes, it's for example, in the present day scenario also, in the MT14 directorate, we Army conducts its own examinations for the 10th and 12th examinations that is recognized by the CBSE. We have our own syllabus. We conduct the examination. We confirm the results, and that is as good as any other board. So that's what we still do. That's what a Jawan nowadays we are getting metric entries. Before that, we used to have those people who are not done matriculate. We used to tell them 10th. Then after the 10th, people do 12th also through the Army senior school certificate examination. We have fairly successfully in conducting that. But again, how the controlling body, what the curriculum, these things. Of course, this can be worked. It's not a deal. It can, but will it be acceptable to the people? Will it be society? Still, they have a mindset that, okay, CBSE is good, then ICSE is then, nowadays people are talking about IB curriculum. So if you have to design a curriculum and to develop a new curriculum, it may have to go through the test of fire. It have to withstand the test of time. So it takes some time. So till such time, what I recommend is you have the existing curriculum, piggyback on that, and you diversify into the areas what you have mentioned. As I was also telling you, as I shared my thoughts on that, you have to provide various avenues for the children to take up their studies in their chosen path towards that. Those many subjects you have to open up. That means that needs a lot of resources. That many teachers you have to employ. For example, you have to have a weaving as one of the subjects in your, or a rifle shooting is one of the CBS got so many subjects are there. There are hundreds of subjects are there, amazing subjects are there. But to provide resource persons, you need to have funds to have appoint that many teachers. Yes, that's where the technology will come. So the technology will definitely help in sharing the resources, which I already shared with you. You have a nucleus of resources in one particular school. So those nucleus of resources, those particular special courses can be provided on online facility to those children who are seeking those special subjects. Like that, that's why you can increase the bandwidth of the subjects of this upcoming schools. Definitely, you can do that with the help of technology. But having said that, the technology is a facilitator. I look at technology as it's not a replacement of the human talent. The teacher is a face-to-face teaching. Definitely cannot be replaced by technology. It has to be there. So
Wonderful.
you need to have quality teachers. Of course, you are supported by appropriate technologies and softwares. So many things are nowadays available. Still, the child, the learner looks at the teacher for the inspiration, motivation, and guidance, other things.
The required staff is not easily available, sir. And present school,
Yeah,
existing schools also, you have so many challenges. These 100
absolutely.
Sainik schools which will come up, do you feel that some of the retired officers from the Army Education Corps, because they otherwise also lose about 3 years and they go at 57, why can't there be a reoccupation and they can initially support this entire system, ecosystem to be developed properly for a couple of years? And then at the same time, I recall when I moved on deputation to the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, for the first time for the armed forces officers, I brought travel, tourism, and hospitality courses in the DGR. And
Yes.
then with the next DGR, we started 6 months management programs. And that is with the IMs and MDI Gurugram, other places, so many. Why can't we think of 6 months DGR special program for people, those have to come as principal, headmaster, administrator, vice principal, or a teacher for that matter in any school, Sainik school, because environment and expectations from a teacher are altogether different.
Yes, sir. That's definitely there is a lot of human resource available in those areas, like in like all the tri-services, even Air Force and Navy education branch, and even Army. We are a core of about 500 odd officers. Definitely, there is a lot of people who had a excellent track record as a school leaders, principals, and headmasters, and ADM officers also, and also number of JCOs for that matter. They work in the human resource development centers in the various core headquarters. They have been many of them were training the cadets or the serving soldiers for the Army Cadet College entry, and there are many unsung heroes are there, the JCOs. They train them. They train a Jawan to become an officer. This is not a small thing. It's a very skilled job. It's a very it needs a lot of talent. So we have got education core has got a lot of NCOs and JCOs. Enough uh, human resources available. Yes, that can be tapped. Definitely, that can be tapped. Of course, they have to be further um, um, customized to the school level teaching. Since they are dealing with the Jawans, they have to deal with the young students because of the so many child protection laws, so many things in um, anything. No, nowadays teaching job is also very hazardous job, teacher's job. you have to be very careful about the laws, child protection rights, and various things. Otherwise, there are a lot of pitfalls are there in that direction. We have to be trained. We have to reorient them to that. It cannot be the true good olden times, like the belief that spare the rod, spoil the child. That will not work.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm
My
so
pleasure, sir.
grateful to you, Colonel Prashad, sir, and I'm grateful to Colonel Inder Mohan, sir, who put us together and we could have you on the program. Finally, before leaving, what message would you like to give to today's youngsters, those are interested to come to Sainik schools? How they should be prepared before they come?
Sir, it's if given a chance, if any parent asks me where should I put my child, I definitely tell him that why don't you put him in a Sainik school? Definitely, I'll tell them. Uh, the training, the preparation for Sainik school is, as I told you, there is an entrance test where he has to be. It's an all India entrance test. He has to qualify. That is English, maths, and science and current affairs. He has to brush up. The child has to brush up these subjects, and then he will definitely. It's not easy to get into Sainik schools nowadays. The gone are those days. It's a very tough competition. Unfortunately, there are many coaching centers have mushroomed up in the area of Junjunu and Rohtak in these areas. They have really hijacked the actual providing the right material to the Sainik schools. In fact, there's a lot of training goes on exclusively preparing the children for the Sainik schools, and they do make it. Many of them. I've seen that there's a tremendous effort goes into preparing these children for the written examination. It's not easy, and but that entrance tests also need to undergo a little change. It should be in the form of a kind of a diluted form of a services selection board sort of thing. Psychological testing has to be done, not only going by clear only the academic content. They should not test. You have to see the child's abilities and interests and aptitudes, then select the child. Especially when you are going to increase the number of schools, we have to have various other parameters to be drawn to at the selection level also. Purely getting into, we may not get the right material for the ultimate mission statement, ultimate vision we have to develop these schools.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Colonel Prashad, sir. And all the best days ahead for you. Look forward meeting you soon sometime.
Definitely, sir. My pleasure. It's wonderful talking to you. And again, going back in the memory lane. Thank you very much.
We would continue learning from you. Thank you, sir.
Sure. Thank you, sir.